Luce and I are both involved in a film that's being made about the Amazon and the message from the people of the Amazon. Well, I think particularly one of the things that interested me was her story around this evil character, the Moloch. That whole story, that the mythology around that very much coincides with the prophecy of the Mayan people. The world was ruled by an evil, brutal, selfish, egotistical, highly materialistic ruler named Seven Macaw. The Mayan people really understand this because back between the year 800 and 900 in our calendar AD, their huge civilization vanished. They had these huge, massive cities, beautiful, that people go to throughout so much of Mexico and Guatemala and parts of Honduras and El Salvador. These vast pyramids, more impressive than the Egyptian pyramids, in my opinion. Incredible cities that they built. But only the rich people, the rulers and their administrators lived in those cities. Everybody else lived outside and came into the cities for ceremonies. And one of the ceremonies, they expected the priests and the leaders to be able to bring in good climatic conditions so that they could grow crops. And the people outside the city were heavily taxed. So all the food for the cities, all the clothes, all the jewelry, everything, all the work to build the pyramids came from people outside the cities. And they began, in building these cities, they drained the swamps and they cut the forests. And in the process, they changed the climate over a period of time. And so by the year in our calendar of 800 AD, the climate began to change. And cities that had been peaceful went to war with each other for scarce resources. And eventually, the people got fed up. They said, well, the priests aren't doing their job. We're not getting the good climate. The climate's destroying. It's changed. We can't grow crops. We can't continue. We don't want to fight these wars. We don't want to kill our neighbors. And so they left the cities. They abandoned them. They went back into the forest. They went up into the mountains of Guatemala. And they continued their traditions and their practices. They didn't build cities. They lived very simple lives. But they continued to do their fire ceremonies and to tell these stories, the prophecy. And so, today I take people to understand this, to go to these places and to be with the shamans who tell us these stories. And it's very important that they tell us, look, we did to our world back 1,000 years ago what you're doing to your world now, and your world is the entire planet at this point. Please learn from us. Don't continue. Our leaders will not cut off their own heads. No, none of them are going to do that. We have to do it, and it doesn't have to be brutal. We have to replace them. And it's an incredible story. We can just see this movement that's been happening. All the cultures that I know of, whether it's from the Himalayas or the Amazon or the Andes or parts of Africa or the Middle East, Europe, every culture, North American indigenous people, have prophecies that tell us that this is a time with the opportunity to change what it means to be human beings, to move into a new level of consciousness of what it means to be human on this incredible living planet where we have so much influence as humans. We are so fortunate to be here now at this time in our history.